Have you ever felt that as the years go by, the world starts to see you differently, as if your shine and worth are only tied to your youth? Let me tell you something. Nothing could be further from the truth. At 65, 70, 80, or beyond, you can be more attractive, more inspiring, and more magnetic than you ever imagined. It's not about meeting others' expectations, but about discovering the power you still carry within and learning to express it at every moment of your life. In this video, I'm going to show you how 9 deeply simple yet transformative actions can awaken that energy that has always been within you. We'll talk about things that go far beyond the physical. It's about your presence, your emotional strength, your ability to connect, and leave a lasting impact. If you stay with me until the end, you'll discover that true attraction doesn't fade with age. It grows stronger when you know how to nurture it. I'm Gabriel, and I want to invite you to rediscover what has always been there, the certainty that you can keep shining, inspiring, and living with purpose, no matter your age. Let's get started. Number 1. Cultivating serenity as an emotional magnet. Have you noticed that as the years go by, those small moments of tranquility seem to become more precious, but also more elusive? You might feel that life's worries don't diminish, they just change form. Health, family relationships, memories that sometimes bring nostalgia instead of joy. But what you may not have realized is that serenity isn't just a source of personal well-being. It's also a quality that draws others to you like an invisible magnet. In Stoicism, there's a teaching about the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control and what is not. Epictetus once said, "Of things that exist, some are within our power and others are not." It's within this distinction that serenity begins. When you accept that you cannot control your children's actions, the pace of your days, or other people's judgments, but you can control your response to them, you free yourself from a tremendous weight. That freedom not only transforms your life, but also has a contagious effect. People are drawn to those who aren't easily shaken, who can remain calm, even in the midst of chaos. Science backs this up. Studies in psychology have shown that emotions are profoundly contagious, a phenomenon known as emotional resonance. Your serenity can calm others, just like a smile can light up a room. And it's not about suppressing your emotions, but training your mind to respond with balance. Meditation, deep breathing, and even simple practices like walking outdoors can help you cultivate this state of inner peace. But serenity also has roots in other traditions. In Taoism, it's said that the stillest water is the deepest. Just as a serene lake reflects the sky with perfect clarity, a calm mind can reflect the best in those around you. Imagine for a moment being that lake, a presence that not only soothes but also inspires, becoming a refuge for others while never losing your own strength. Serenity is not resignation, nor is it the absence of emotion. It's the ability to accept the inevitable and find peace in it. It's looking life in the eye and saying, no matter what you bring, I am at peace with myself. When you reach this state, your attractiveness transforms into something far beyond the physical. You become a warm, comforting presence, someone others long to be around because in your calm, they find their own. The next time you face a challenge, an argument, or even a moment of loneliness, take a moment to ask yourself, is this within my control? And if it's not, take a deep breath and let it go. That choice will not only protect your peace, but also be an act of strength others cannot ignore. Because in a world full of noise and turmoil, serenity is a treasure that never goes unnoticed. Stay with me, because what's coming next is even more powerful. You'll discover how something as simple as listening can be one of the deepest ways to connect and attract. Number 2, listening attentively, an act of deep connection. Have you ever felt truly heard, as if every word you spoke carried absolute weight and meaning to the person in front of you? That feeling of being understood not only brings relief, but also creates a powerful and unforgettable connection. Yet, in a world increasingly deafened by hurry and self-interest, listening attentively has become a rare art, almost a gift. And yet, it's one of the simplest and most transformative acts you can offer. To understand the power of listening, let's travel back to the 19th century and think about Clara Barton, the founder of the American Red Cross. Known as the Angel of the Battlefield, Barton's strength wasn't just in saving lives during wartime. Her true power lay in her ability to listen. During the American Civil War, she didn't only tend to physical wounds, she also offered comfort to dying soldiers, many of whom only wanted to share their final words with someone who would listen without judgment. In an era filled with suffering and despair, Barton understood that listening was both an act of compassion and healing. The soldiers found relief not only in her care, but also in her willingness to hear their stories, fears, and dreams. Through this seemingly simple gesture, Barton connected deeply with those around her, leaving a legacy that still endures. Stoicism teaches us that true wisdom begins when we stop talking and start observing and listening. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Listen attentively to everything that is said, even if it is irrelevant. The humility to listen makes you great." In this act of full attention, you're not only validating the other person, but also cultivating your own inner peace. Listening without interrupting or anticipating responses is a way of being present, setting aside your worries and focusing entirely on the other person. Science also supports this. Psychological studies have shown that people who feel truly heard experience a significant decrease in stress and a greater sense of well-being. But what's even more fascinating is that those who actively listen also benefit. Their levels of empathy increase, their social connections strengthen, and ultimately, their own emotional health improves. Listening doesn't just transform the speaker, it also transforms the listener. Imagine for a moment that someone close to you, a friend, a grandchild, or even a stranger, needs to be heard. Instead of offering solutions or quick responses, you choose to pause, look them in the eyes, and let them speak without interruption. That gesture has a deeper impact than you might realize. The words of the listener matter, yes, but their attentive silence matters even more. Just as Clara Barton demonstrated on the chaos of the battlefield that listening could be a balm for the soul, you too can be that healing presence in someone's life. You don't need to have all the answers or solve every problem. Sometimes you only need to be there, fully present, offering others a space where they feel understood and valued. The next time someone comes to you with a concern or simply needs to talk, remember Barton and the quiet strength of those who listen with their hearts. This simple act has the power to build deeper relationships and strengthen the invisible bonds that connect us. Because by listening, you're not only helping the other person, you're also helping yourself live more consciously and fully. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how a small change in the way you live can speak louder than 1,000 words, transforming not only your own perception, but also that of those around you. Number 3, keeping an active and flexible body. Have you ever wondered how small daily movements can make a big difference in how you feel and how others perceive you? Physical vitality isn't just about health, it's a way of telling the world and yourself that you still have the energy to live fully. It doesn't matter how old you are, every step you take, every stretch you make is a statement that you're present and ready for whatever comes your way. Today, I want to invite you to try a simple yet powerful exercise you can do right now, no matter where you are. Stand up and find a space where you can move your arms freely. Relax your shoulders, place your hands on your hips, and take 3 deep breaths. Now, raise your arms toward the sky as if you were trying to reach the clouds, and hold that position for a few seconds, feeling the stretch along your back and sides. Then, gently let your arms fall to your sides. This simple stretch not only releases physical tension, but also serves as a visual reminder to yourself and to others that you're still moving, open to embracing life with open arms. Repeat this exercise every morning, and over time, you'll notice how that small gesture activates your body and awakens your mind. The Stoics spoke of movement not only as a way to care for the body, but also as a metaphor for action in life. Seneca said, "The soul becomes hardened when the body is idle." Staying active is not just about strengthening muscles, it's a way of reminding yourself that every day is an opportunity to move forward, no matter how small the steps may be. Modern science backs up this idea. Studies have shown that even 10 minutes of gentle physical activity each day can improve blood flow, reduce stress, and boost the production of endorphins, those feel-good molecules that lift your mood. As you continue watching this video, I invite you to try this exercise or any movement that makes you feel alive and present. And if this content is motivating you to take care of your vitality, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. Here we share practical tools and reflections for living with purpose and well-being at every stage of life. Leave me a comment letting me know where you're listening from. I'd love to know how these ideas are reaching so many corners of the world. Remember, keeping an active and flexible body isn't about grand achievements or pushing yourself too hard. It's about conscious movements that connect you to the present and remind you that despite the years, there's still so much to enjoy. Think about this the next time you walk around your house or climb a step. Every small effort is an investment in your energy and your way of facing life. Number 4. Dressing to express your authenticity. A few weeks ago, I received a message from Mary, a 67-year-old viewer who follows the channel from Texas. In her message, she shared how for a long time her way of dressing had lost all meaning. "Gabriel," she wrote, "I'd look in the mirror and see comfortable, functional clothes, but nothing that said anything about me. It was like my reflection no longer belonged to me." Mary told me that between grieving the loss of her husband and retiring from her job, she had stopped paying attention to something so simple yet powerful as what she chose to wear each day. Without realizing it, she had stopped expressing who she was and what she still had to offer the world. One day, inspired by one of our videos, she decided to take control of her reflection. She went to her closet and looked for clothes that brought her joy, the pieces she once chose, because they made her feel strong, authentic, and alive. She found a red dress she had bought years ago for an anniversary but had never dared to wear outside of that occasion. Mary decided to put it on one random Monday, pairing it with a simple necklace she'd kept tucked away for being too flashy. When she went out to the market, something changed. The looks she received weren't judgmental, as she had feared, but instead curious, and in some cases, even admiring. But the most important thing was how she felt. For the first time in a long while, I saw myself again, and I realized I can still shine, even with my gray hair and wrinkles. Mary's story isn't just about fashion, it's a lesson in authenticity. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Never be ashamed of showing who you are. Instead, celebrate it." Dressing with intention isn't a superficial act, it's a reflection of how you see yourself and how you wish to present yourself to the world. It's not about spending large amounts of money or following trends. It's about choosing pieces that tell your story, that speak of your strength, your joy, and your desire to live with purpose. Psychological studies have confirmed that the way we dress can directly influence our mood and the confidence we project. When you choose a vibrant color, a special accessory, or even a texture you enjoy, you're sending a powerful message. I am here, I am still me, and I have something to say. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you put on clothes without really considering how they make you feel? Maybe right now you're wearing something comfortable, but does it truly represent you? You don't have to change everything overnight. You can start with small details, a pair of earrings you love, a scarf in cheerful colors, or even a jacket that makes you feel strong. Every decision you make about how you dress can become a conscious act of self-care and self-love. Mary's story teaches us that it's never too late to reconnect with who we are and to express our essence. Stay with me, because in the next lesson, we'll explore something that also has the power to deeply connect with others while transforming how you see yourself. Number 5, sharing stories that inspire. As the years go by, our stories become a far more valuable treasure than we realize. Yet many times we believe our experiences are just memories tucked away in some corner of our minds, without realizing that by sharing them, we can change the lives of those around us. Every experience, every achievement, even every mistake holds the power to inspire and connect with others in ways that transcend time. Think about this. Your life is not just a series of days, but a collection of moments filled with unique lessons. The Stoics understood that learning didn't only come from books, but also from shared experiences. Epictetus said, "The wise man, even if he has only a single candle, lights the way for those around him." Your stories are those candles. By sharing them, you not only illuminate those who listen, but also give new meaning to what you've lived, a reason for those experiences to keep making a difference. A powerful example of this can be found in the life of Maya Angelou, the poet and activist who turned her pain into strength and wisdom for the world. Through her storytelling, Angelou shared tales of struggle, resilience, and hope that resonated with millions, teaching us that our scars are proof of what we've overcome, not what defines us. Your stories, even if they aren't written in a book, can be just as impactful. You might not realize it, but by sharing how you overcame a challenge, made a brave decision, or found joy in the midst of loss, you can inspire someone to take control of their own life. Psychology supports this as well. Telling stories is one of the most effective ways to build emotional connections. Studies have shown that when we hear a story, our brains generate stronger empathetic responses than when we simply receive data or information. This phenomenon, known as narrative resonance, happens because stories activate the same areas of the brain in both the storyteller and the listener, creating an emotional bridge that strengthens relationships. Imagine sitting down with a grandchild, a friend, or even a young neighbor, and sharing a moment when you overcame a challenge that once seemed impossible. Maybe it was learning something new when everyone told you it was too late to try. Or perhaps it was the time you chose to forgive someone and freed yourself from a burden you had carried for years. In that moment, you're not just passing on a lesson, you're saying, "I did it, and so can you." Your stories don't need to be grand or perfect. In fact, the beauty of a story lies in its authenticity. What matters is allowing yourself to open up, trusting that what you have to share has value, and letting the connection happen. If you do, you'll find that by inspiring others, you also inspire yourself. Telling your stories helps you make sense of what you've lived, reconcile with the past, and remind yourself that everything has a purpose. I invite you to reflect on a story of yours that you could share with someone close to you or even here in this space. If this topic has made you think of something special, leave me a comment and share your story, or the most important lesson you've learned in your life? I'd love to know where you're listening from and how these ideas are resonating with you. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss lessons like this one, and share this video with someone you think needs to hear these words. Remember, your stories are a living legacy, a way to leave a lasting mark on those around you. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we'll explore something that can not only transform how others see you, but also how you see yourself. Number 6, practicing mindful self-care. Imagine waking up one morning and deciding to take a walk through a nearby park. The air is cool, the sky painted with the first rays of sunlight, and around you, tall trees seem to embrace the path you walk. You pause for a moment, look at your hands, and notice every detail, the lines that tell your story, the softness or roughness that reflects everything you've built. Then you realize something else. Those hands, which have cared for others so many times, deserve the same care you've always given. But when was the last time you truly looked at them with gratitude? Now imagine that as you continue walking, you see an older woman sitting on a bench. Her posture and expression radiate calmness. You're drawn to the way she seems to carry herself with a special kind of care, from the way she dresses to how she gently holds a small book in her hands. She's not extravagant or flashy, but there's something about her presence that catches your attention. That woman embodies something we often forget, that the care we give our bodies, minds, and emotions isn't vanity, but a profound act of respect for the life still beating within us. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the body is an instrument we must care for to fulfill our purpose in life. Epictetus said, "Do not neglect the part of your life that is under your care." Taking care of yourself is neither a luxury nor a superficial obsession. It's a way of honoring who you are and showing gratitude for each day you've been given. But this care isn't limited to the body, it also includes your thoughts and emotions, because everything is connected. The Stoics believed in maintaining balance between mind and body, understanding that what affects one inevitably affects the other. Modern science supports this connection. Studies have shown that regular self-care practices, like a consistent personal care routine, light exercise, or even taking time for meditation, can significantly reduce stress levels and improve cardiovascular and cognitive health. Moreover, the simple act of paying attention to how you care for yourself, being mindful of what you choose to eat, how you hydrate your skin, or how you take moments to breathe, sends a powerful message to your subconscious that your life matters, that you matter. To bring this idea to life, I want you to take a moment and visualize a simple act of mindful self-care. It could be something as basic as applying lotion to your hands while feeling grateful for all they have done for you. Or maybe taking a few minutes to prepare a warm drink, enjoying it slowly and noticing how it warms your body from within. In those moments, you're not just doing something physical, you're creating a space of mindfulness, acknowledging that the care you give yourself is also a form of love. Taoism offers valuable wisdom here too. In its philosophy, there's an emphasis on nurturing the root so the tree can grow strong. You are that root, and mindful self-care is the nourishment you need to keep flourishing. This small change in your routine can transform how you feel about yourself and how others perceive your energy. Someone who cares for themselves doesn't just look better. They radiate vitality, calmness, and presence. Remember, self-care doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. The most important thing is that it's intentional. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you how a simple mindset shift can turn every interaction into an opportunity to transform not only your world, but also the world of those around you. Number 7, loving without expectations. There comes a time in life when you realize that the love you give doesn't always come back the way you hoped. Maybe it's the emotional distance of a child, the absence of a partner, or the silence of a once close friendship. These voids can hurt, but they're also an invitation to understand something that can transform the way you live and love. True love doesn't wait, doesn't demand, doesn't measure what it receives. It simply gives. The Stoics believed that the only way to find peace was to let go of control over what doesn't depend on us. Epictetus said, "You cannot be loved by everyone, but you can choose to love everyone." This idea isn't about resignation or accepting mistreatment. It's about understanding that the purest, freest love is the kind that is given without conditions. When you love without expecting anything in return, you free yourself from the weight of disappointment and allow that love in itself to transform you. From another perspective, Buddhism also speaks of this freedom in love, describing it as a selfless act that seeks the well-being of the other without attachment. Thich Nhat Hanh, a spiritual teacher, said that to love means to offer space and freedom to the other, even if it means they won't be by your side. Loving in this way doesn't diminish what you feel. It enriches it because it no longer depends on external responses, but becomes a reflection of your own inner greatness. Take a moment to reflect on the people in your life. Think about those you love deeply, but who may not always be present in the way you wish. Instead of focusing on what you're not receiving, ask yourself, how can I love from a place of abundance, without expectations or resentment? This change in perspective doesn't mean accepting unbalanced relationships. It means finding fulfillment in the act of giving, because true love always fills the one who offers it first. Neuroscience also offers an interesting perspective. When you love or perform a selfless act, your brain releases oxytocin, a hormone that reduces stress and enhances feelings of well-being. In other words, the love you give not only benefits others, it also heals and strengthens your own heart. Loving without expecting anything in return is, essentially, a way to nourish your body, mind, and spirit. When you choose to love in this way, you become a radiant presence in the world, not because you're immune to pain or loss, but because you find within yourself the source of your peace. This kind of love transcends individual relationships and extends to everything you do. It's the love that shows itself in a smile offered to a stranger, in advice given with patience, or in a small gesture that brightens someone's day. Maybe right now you're thinking that loving without expecting anything in return is difficult, even impossible, and that's okay. It's not about getting it perfect from the start, but about trying it in the small moments, listening without judgment, forgiving without conditions, reaching out without demanding your hand be taken. Because every act of selfless love is a step toward a freer, fuller life, more connected to what truly matters. Love that doesn't depend on external responses is an inexhaustible force. It doesn't weaken over time or wear down from disappointments. On the contrary, it grows stronger because it finds its purpose in the simple fact of existing. And when you choose to love this way, you realize something incredible. No matter how much you give, there's always more left to offer. Number 8, investing in learning something new. Imagine you have a blank sheet of paper in front of you, ready to be filled with something completely unknown. Now think, when was the last time you did something for the first time? As the years go by, it's easy to fall into routines and avoid challenges that push us out of our comfort zones. However, learning something new isn't just an act of curiosity. It's a powerful exercise to keep your mind sharp, your heart young, and your spirit constantly evolving. Stoicism teaches us that there is always room for growth, no matter what stage of life we're in. Marcus Aurelius said, "Live as if you are constantly learning, because learning is the purpose of life. Learning something new doesn't mean mastering it perfectly. It means opening yourself up to the experience of growth and allowing yourself to fail in the process. Every time you explore a different skill or knowledge, you're training your mind to adapt, find solutions, and stay alive in the face of change. Today, I want to propose a mini challenge. After watching this video, choose something you've always wanted to learn, no matter how small or big it may be. It could be something hands-on, like knitting or painting, something practical, like using a new app on your phone, or something intellectual, like learning words in another language. You don't need to dedicate hours to it, or even be consistent from the start. What matters is taking that first step, because every bit of progress, no matter how small, is proof that you're still growing. Science gives us strong reasons to embrace this habit. Studies in neuroscience have shown that learning something new stimulates brain plasticity, your brain's ability to create and strengthen connections between neurons. This process not only prevents cognitive decline, but also improves memory, concentration, and problem-solving skills. Learning triggers the release of dopamine, a chemical that brings pleasure and motivation, making it an activity that not only nourishes your mind, but also lifts your mood. Think about the emotional impact of this habit as well. Instead of focusing on what you've lost over the years, learning invites you to discover what you can still gain. Buddhism reminds us that a mind open to new knowledge lives in the present, free from the chains of the past and the anxiety of the future. Every new skill you cultivate is an opportunity to renew your perception of yourself, to rediscover your ability to create and adapt. Right now, you might feel a mix of excitement and doubt. Maybe you think you don't have the same mental agility, or that learning something new requires too much effort. But let me tell you something. The only way to challenge those thoughts is to try. It might not be perfect at first, but that doesn't matter. Every attempt is a reminder that you are still moving forward, that there is still room for surprise and adventure. When you finish watching this video, I want you to take a notebook, a piece of paper, or simply your thoughts, and decide what new skill or knowledge you want to bring into your life. Write it down or say it out loud as a commitment to yourself. Learning something new is like planting a seed within you. You may not see the fruit right away, but with every day you dedicate to nurturing it, something wonderful grows inside you. Stay with me, because in the next chapter, we'll explore a powerful way to project your essence, something that can completely change the way you relate to the world. Number 9, being consistent even in small efforts. In 1775, a young man named Johann Wolfgang von Goethe wrote a work that would change literature forever, The Sorrows of Young Werther. He was only 25 at the time, but what many don't know is that Goethe continued writing, studying, and creating throughout his entire life, even up until his final days. One of his greatest works, Faust, wasn't completed until he was over 80 years old. Goethe's life is a testament to what consistency and small efforts can achieve over time. It wasn't just his genius that made him endure. It was his daily habit of dedicating time to his passions, regardless of his age or the challenges he faced. What's fascinating about Goethe is that he didn't limit himself to just one discipline. Besides being a writer, he explored science, botany, and politics. How did he manage this? By focusing on the value of the present day, making the most of every moment to work on what he loved. The Stoics taught something similar. Never underestimate the importance of what you do today, because the present is all you truly have. Marcus Aurelius said, "The perfection of character consists in this, living each day as if it were your last, without frenzy, laziness, or pretense." Science also supports the power of consistency, even in small efforts. Neuroscientists have found that regularly repeating activities, no matter how minimal, strengthens neural connections, helping to keep the mind sharp and the body active. Whether it's walking for 15 minutes a day, dedicating time to reading, writing in a journal, or learning something new, the key is making it part of your routine. What seems insignificant today can accumulate to create a transformative change. Let's go back to Goethe. Even in his later years, when others might have decided to stop, he kept writing and exploring, adapting to his energy and rhythm of the moment. His life teaches us that it's never too late to be consistent, and that consistency doesn't require grand, heroic gestures. It can be as simple as deciding to read a poem each day, stretch every morning, or cook a nutritious meal with attention and care. These small acts over time become the foundations of a meaningful and fulfilling life. Buddhism offers a teaching that perfectly complements this idea. It speaks of the middle way, not doing too much, but also not doing too little. It's about finding a balance between effort and patience, remembering that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to something greater. Consistency is not a race. It's a path built day by day, without unreasonable demands, but also without abandoning it completely. Think about your own life. What small habit could you incorporate to strengthen your health, your mind, or your relationships? Maybe it's taking a short walk outside, dedicating a few minutes to meditation, or simply remembering to drink enough water each day. Consistency doesn't mean perfection, it means persistence. Like Goethe, you can keep cultivating your creativity, your vitality, and your curiosity, one step at a time. We've reached the end of this journey, and I want to thank you for staying with me until now, because it shows that you are truly committed to yourself, to your well-being, and to continuing to grow during this incredibly valuable stage of life. My name is Gabriel, and if you haven't done so yet, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so we can keep sharing ideas that help you live with purpose and vitality. I want to know who the determined people are who made it this far, so comment with the phrase, "I live like a Stoic," and tell me where you're listening from. Your words not only inspire others, but also help us connect as a community. Share this video with someone who needs a dose of motivation or who's looking for ways to feel more fulfilled and authentic, because sometimes a simple message can change a life. Thank you for being here, for being open to new ideas, and for choosing to nurture your health and your spirit. I'll see you in the next video, but until then, keep moving forward with intention, serenity, and confidence in yourself.